What we don't want to do is just send money down a hole and never see it again. That's the way traditional insurance, like what you have on your car or on your home, work. What we want to do is actually use an investment type of insurance where if you pass away and you never get chronically ill, your spouse, your loved ones, your favorite charity, wherever you want it to go, is going to get this money at a multiple. Hey folks, this is Colin Richards, president and founder of Lord & Richards, and I'm back in another episode of the Lord & Richards Show. And in this series, we've been talking about the top questions people are asking about retirement. And we began with knowing whether or not you have enough to cover your costs and your budget in retirement and never run out of money. We continued with the subject of risk and how to make sure you barbell your portfolio against risk. And if you missed that episode, be sure to check us out on YouTube or on a podcast. But in this last series, I'm talking about the question of whether I have enough to deal with the high costs of healthcare and retirement. And we've learned, JP Morgan has done a study, others have done studies that have told us people are living longer, retiring earlier, whether they want to or not. The costs of healthcare are only going up. Planning for about a 6% rate of inflation is your wisest course, but that doesn't even include chronic illness. The good news is we're helping folks just like you to build a comprehensive financial plan through our financial independence review process. And at the end of the day, you have a written income plan, a written risk management plan, a written tax plan, a written estate plan, and yes, of course, a written healthcare plan. And this is one of the keys. And if you don't have this, you've got to get it, folks. You've got to get it written down. Someone has wisely said, failing to plan is planning to fail. And we know that the likelihood of achieving our goals that are written down is exponentially higher than those that are just floating about in our head. I had a meeting recently with a delightful couple, and they shared exactly that. They said, hey, we're ready to enjoy our retirement. We don't want to spend all of our time analyzing and figuring out all these complex questions. The good news is our team at Lord & Richards loves to do that. We absolutely delight in it. And last week I was sitting down with a couple of clients, and it was wonderful to hear them say, two folks back to back, hey, what has just been told us today about our plan is literally life-changing. In one case, caring for an elderly parent. In the other case, having to deal themselves with no longer being employed, but knowing they were financially independent. Well, how can we do this in this area of chronic illness? Because this is a big black hole in most people's plans. Frankly, most of the financial advisors you're going to go see are not adequately equipped to help you in this. You've got to have a fiduciary, a comprehensive planner, and someone who's not afraid to utilize insurance appropriately within your plan. You see, there's a lot of bias out there, sometimes because that's not what their company or brokerage sells. But here's the reality. Insurance simply means transferring risk from one person to another or from one entity to another. The truth is you may be able to pay out of your pocket if chronic illness strikes later in life. But what if it happens earlier? What if it's like my family, where I had a dear family member that got chronically ill in their 40s? Wow, that could be devastating. Of course, the traditional solution is long-term care insurance. And if you can get a policy where you can lock in your rates and not see those high increases that a lot of people see, that might be a great solution for you. The challenge is most of the people I'm talking to are thinking about this when they're already in retirement years, and this is so expensive. So I had a wonderful friend, one of my clients, come to me and say, look, Colin, you guys have built for us a wonderful financial independence review. We have a written income plan. We have a written tax plan, a written risk management plan, and we've got our estate plan in order. But here's the hole we've got. We're not sure how we're going to pay for long-term care if that should come. Now, folks, remember, your home is always an asset, right? And so it's likely that you'll still be able to keep that even if you went into a long-term care situation. But what if you say, well, I don't want to be down to the bone, right? Well, I told him, I said, well, have you recently come into any money? He said, well, that's why I'm talking to you. He said, I've got a $275,000 inheritance. At the time, he was 65. He did not have any other form of chronic illness protection, and it was too late to pay for the high cost of chronic illness care. And so I said, well, look, I believe I've got a solution for you. And I said, if we take that $275,000 and dump it into a single premium life insurance policy. Now, this is not the only solution. You can also put money in gradually over time. There's all kinds of different ways to design it. But I said, if you actually drop that into a life insurance policy, and based on his health, we were able to get him $922,704 of death benefit. Yes, I'm giving you the exact numbers. So, first of all, the $275,000 was available to withdraw within 3 years if his needs changed. But if his needs didn't change, as long as that money sat there, it was worth over 3 times as much. And here's the cool part. Here's the really cool part, because he's saying, Colin, well, that's great. My spouse will have life insurance. Maybe they can refill the hole we dug. But is there any way to smooth out these costs while I'm still alive and needing this care? And I said, absolutely, because this kind of life policy, this kind of hybrid insurance product will pay out the death benefit gradually over several years to help pay for the care that you need if you're chronically ill. Wow. That was a life changer for him, and has been for so many of my clients who literally said, look, we're not going to rely on, or we're just concerned we're not going to be able to self-insure in this area. What can we do that's not just sending money down the drain if we never get sick? And yes, the odds are pretty high you're going to need this coverage, between 2/3 and 3/4 for men and women. But folks, what we don't want to do is just send money down a hole and never see it again. That's the way traditional insurance, like what you have on your car or on your home, work. What we want to do is actually use an investment type of insurance where if you pass away and you never get chronically ill, your spouse, your loved ones, your favorite charity, wherever you want it to go, is going to get this money at a multiple of many times what you put in. But if you get sick, your family can draw out a multiple while you're still alive to help pay for that care. And here's the cool part. It's absolutely tax-free if done properly. You see, that's the difference from other types of assets that you may have to liquidate and pay taxes on. Now you can withdraw money tax-free and not have to touch any of the other assets that are supporting your spouse. And this is particularly important if you're married, because the idea of bankrupting your spouse is reprehensible to most of us. But that is the reality. This is the number one cause of bankruptcy in retirement. A sick spouse drains the assets of the household for their care, passes on, leaving a well spouse to live potentially years beyond with very little. So that's a situation we can avoid, folks. And I'm just giving you one idea, one little quick idea. By the way, this can be done gradually. As I said, I've had folks do this with their required distributions that maybe they weren't living on out of their IRA when they hit their 70s, or maybe pension funds or other dollars. But the key is we have to have some type of consistent source of income to pay these premiums, or we have to have a lump sum that's not being utilized in your portfolio for something else. Folks, this is life-changing for many of my clients, and I want you to know this is one of many solutions that we're employing every single day to make sure our clients can retire safely and without worry, and especially to avoid bankruptcy and retirement from the number one cause, that's chronic illness. So here's the good news. We want to help you. We want to help you develop a plan so that you can retire financially independent and without worry. And what we're doing is we're sitting down every day with people just like you, taking you through our financial independence review process to determine if you're already ready or if we can do something to help. It just starts with a simple phone call.